What the Flux is brought to you by DeLoreanRental.com. If you're looking to rent a DeLorean time machine, DeLorean Rental has you covered. They have time machines all across the United States, the UK, Germany, France, Italy, and adding more cars daily. Check out all of their packages to see what would best fit your event at DeLoreanRental.com or call 708-292-0236.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
All your questions will be answered. Roll tape.
Live from the former Institute of Future Technology in Orlando, Florida, you're listening to What the Flux with your hosts, Anthony Furtado, Todd Henge, Caitlin Larkin, and Eugene Schnee.
Welcome, folks. We are back. What the Flux in the house. We have Mr. Todd here. What up? And we have Miss Caitlin, the talented, beautiful Miss Caitlin.
Oh, thank you. How are you?
Ooh, you dancing on the stuff.
Oh, am I? Am I in distress?
Yes, you are, because you're surrounded by two hunks here.
That's true.
That's right.
If I liked boys, I'd be in big trouble.
Woo! Oh, my. Oh, George Takai is here, too. Hi, George. Folks, a lot of celebrities apparently are just like struggling so bad these days that they're just living their here.
They have.
I know. Christopher Walken was walking.
I know, it's crazy times.
Christopher Walken was here. George Takai is here. Who else is here?
Well, I don't know, but do you think I should really swear?
Oh, Kreitzman Glover.
Oh, man, we got Kreitzman Glover.
I know. We did the impossible. We got Kreitzman Glover here.
Yeah, man.
Hey, you. Let's just get on with the podcast.
Folks, we be on the alert for the new movie with Christopher Walken, Kreitzman Glover, and George Takai. Called, what's it, Three Man and Baby? Something like that.
That would be a great remake.
Yeah, just, remaking everything.
Remaking everything. Except Back to the Future.
Well, yeah, hopefully not.
Yeah,
no,
hopefully not.
never.
We can only hold our breath. But
Yes.
anyway, folks, how are you guys doing? How is CoronaCon treating you guys now?
I mean...
CoronaCon?
That's what I call it.
That's what we're calling it?
I call
I
it
didn't get my tickets. I didn't dress as my cosplay.
You don't need a ticket. Everybody's welcome.
Everybody's in, yeah.
Everybody's
Oh, man.
in it.
Hanging,
Hanging?
back to work, sort of, and, doing this show with you guys and, living my best life.
Oh my God, I'm going to cue in the little violins here.
Living La Vida Loca.
Living La Vida Con. La Vida Con or something. Well, folks, we have an amazing show today, as always. But before we begin with our show, we need to go with our popular segment. This is a very popular segment. Out of 10 people that we asked, 2 people said this was their favorite part. You know what it is?
Interesting. I want to know what the other 8 people said.
I don't know, but who cares? Because we're doing this show for the 2 people.
Of course.
I believe their names were Todd and Eugene. Anyway, we're going for Back to the Future news in 3,
2,
1.
Hey, Dr. Stay. This is tomorrow's newspaper.
Could I go to the library and look myself up in the old newspaper archive?
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Our Back to the Future news for this week. We have 2 birthdays this week, both on the same day, funnily enough. July 5th, we have Claudia Wells has a birthday. She's 54 years young. And she shares a birthday with Mr. Huey Lewis, who's turning the big 7-0.
Huey Lewis is 70?
Huey Lewis is 70 years old.
Don't say it too loud, because, it's too loud.
Oh, are we just too darn loud?
It's too loud.
That's kind of ironic and sad.
I know. I was just gonna say. I don't think we should make that joke.
No, poor Huey Lewis.
Edit it.
And we love him, and we wish Huey and Claudia the best and most happiest of birthdays.
We do.
But because it was the 35th anniversary of Back to the Future last week, so many different companies have come out with special items that I've honestly lost count, and I hope that I got them all. But the first that I got here on my list are these awesome new shirts from the company RSVLTS. Created 3 Back to the Future button-down shirts for boys, which makes me super jealous because I want to wear them.
They are very cool, like very
Yeah.
80s in my type of style.
I like it. I like them a lot.
Yeah, there's it was one with a hoverboard, then there was another with Doc and Marty, doing the classic watch thing, and then why am I blanking on the third?
I think the other one
blanking.
is tacos.
I'm blanking on the third
I think
design.
they do have a taco shirt.
Oh, it's another Doc and Marty shirt. It's the famous look
sure
when
said
they see the DeLorean go back in time for the first time. That
I do want
like,
to get the hoverboard.
yeah,
one.
but the
hoverboard
hoverboard
is
is
super cool.
awesome. So those are available for purchase on RSVLTS.
Where?
RSVLTS.
What's it again? Sorry.
I'm not doing it again.
She's got a long list.
I do. I have a really long list. This is going to be a really long show if this keeps happening. Funko Pops. We've been talking about these since our very first episode, the 35th anniversary Pops. If you guys are from the States and ordered them through Amazon and you were expecting to get them on Friday the 3rd, well, unfortunately, that is not the case. They sent out an email that day, sadly, saying that those won't ship till the end of July or beginning of August, which is complete bullshit.
Which is actually so weird that you say that.
Yeah.
Because Jeff Bezos is actually now like a 90 billionaire now. So maybe there's some sort of ties with that. I don't know.
I don't
Someone
know.
should call Jeff Bezos.
I don't know. Lex Luthor pisses me off all the time. That's what I call him.
Yeah, so I canceled my order and ordered them directly through Funko, which came out to be a little bit cheaper. So if
you
anybody...
realize you just made Jeff Bezos cry, right?
I don't give a...
Well, what the Funko?
Yeah, what the Funko? So if anybody else is, experiencing the same sadness that I am, go order those through Funko themselves. Hopefully it'll be here soon. I feel like I trust that more because on Thursday the 2nd, I looked at my orders and there's like shipping tomorrow and will be here by 8 p.m. and they're a bunch of liars, so I'm mad. So there's that. But speaking of toys, the pictures for the Transformers crossover came out as well. We talked about that the previous week when they dropped that announcement, but the pictures came out, which is pretty cool. And yes, we were right. It is going to be a DeLorean that turns into a robot. But a Transformer,
Thank you
is
very
that the
much.
correct terminology? I'm sorry, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Well, you will be.
Well,
But
you
I
will
will
be.
be because this thing looks fucking cool.
We have Transformers fans in this podcast, so please respect them. Thank you.
I'm sorry. My
flux is
apologies.
Fluxing. Looking at those pictures. and what's the name of the Transformer?
So the name of the Transformer, cleverly enough, is Gigawatt.
Look at that.
And I love it. I think that's so clever and cool. And I love how, like, when you build it, the flux capacitor is in the middle of the chest,
As it should be.
as it should be.
Or if it was lower down, it could
That'd
be
be
the same thing.
That'd be bizarre. But then right below the flux capacitor are the time circuits with all of the appropriate dates on it. So I think that Hasbro and Transformers and Back to the Future did a beautiful job on that. It looks awesome, and I can't wait to order it.
And also talk about the comic book. You don't know about the comic book?
There's a comic book.
Oh my
You're making me
God.
look like real...
Well, I didn't know.
No,
real shitty right
well,
now.
there's actually going to be a 4-ish. There's going to be a comic book series accompany the toy series as well. So there's going to be a comic book
'Cause-
with the Back to the Future and
Oh,
Transformers.
because I saw the pictures. I had no clue.
That
that
was fan art.
No, that's going to be an actual comic book about that.
Interesting.
Yes, man. And it's actually going to be really interesting. They're going to be working on. They've done it before. They did it once when they did Ghostbusters and,
Yeah.
and Transformers,
Yeah,
and then
right.
that's how they released the. Actually, I bought the Ecto one, which Transformers, which looks amazing too as well. And they released a comic book series, which is actually really good. First you look at it, you're like, oh, this is gonna suck. But you look
Yeah.
at it, the story was really good. So it's done by hopefully done by the same team and everything. But it looks really cool. And the fact that one thing I love about the Transformer it can actually look at the time. You saw that?
Oh yeah. I saw the mock-up with the poster that they did where they have Gigawatt standing in Marty's place, which is really cool. We posted all of those pictures on our social media, so if you haven't seen them yet, check it out.
That's right.
They are there.
And I always got your back.
Thank you.
I always got your back.
Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I thought I was going to be looking a fool, but there we go.
We're here. That's one thing about What the Flux, guys. We are here to always help each other out. If we don't know something, Kellen will tell me. If Todd doesn't know, we don't know. If not, we'll ask Christopher or George or whoever who decides to stop by.
Whoever you want to be here, you can just always ask.
Exactly.
All right. And then one final thing. Mondo, who does these great prints and vinyl, coming out with an exclusive red, white, and blue vinyl of the Back to the Future soundtrack. Now, a few years ago, not even a few years ago, I think it was only last year, they did the Alan Silvestri three, oh my God, it's a 6 vinyl set, but for all 3 movies. Geez, Caitlin, you only talk for a living. So that came out where they just did the score, but now they're going to come out with a vinyl for the actual soundtrack of the movie. But also, I saw that they're going to have a variant of the vinyl where the vinyl looks like flames. And I already pre-ordered the red, white, and blue one. So I need to find out where I can get my hands on the flame one, because
that sounds pretty lit.
It does, yeah. So that's a great dad joke.
That was an amazing dad joke.
Keep them entertained.
So
all the dads right now who are listening to this podcast like.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, so I really hope to get that one too, because I'm also a record collector, so I need those. Like, it's not a want, it's a need. I need to have them.
I'll have to hop on that too.
Yeah, gotta get that.
Cool, man. That sounds cool.
Yeah, but we just want to take a second right here to thank all of you guys for your support over the Back to the Future 35 weekend with the little video that we came out with.
We did. We made an awesome video. We had our own mixologist, Mr. DC, in the house creating drinks. I've actually had some friends telling me that they started making some of the drinks.
Really?
Yeah, I told them, like, post some damn pictures. And
I know.
Well, I don't want to, like, well, that's the whole idea. I wanted, to thank you for...
Just take a picture of the drink. You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to be. I mean, I would love for you to be in the picture, but, whatever. But just, like, do it. Even myself, I actually did the Calvin Klein yesterday. And it came out really good, actually. So
good. And I'm not a drinker at all. I actually really don't like alcohol, but those drinks were incredible. And so we want to thank Dizzy for doing those for us. You can follow him at Real Drinks by Diz on Instagram, and that's REEL. So what he's doing is that he's making drinks inspired by like pop culture, mostly movies, but he's also doing like comic books and other things.
His next project is going to be Ghostbusters.
Oh, amazing!
Yeah, he actually released. If you actually follow him, you can see some of the stuff that he's already starting to do. It's a really creative concept. So we definitely wish him the best of luck.
Yeah.
We also want to thank. Eric, who helped us. I mean, Eric is our the fifth Beatle.
Yeah, he's basically the fifth What the Fluxer.
Yeah, he always is the guy who makes it sound good and everything. And oh my God, his talent is unbelievable. So thank you so much for everything that you do for us. And we also want to thank Ms. Dinah Palmisano, who she was actually the one who had to deal with us and work with us that day and made us look good. See, Eric makes us sound good.
Yes.
Dinah makes us look good.
Yes.
And we actually have her here next to us, where we wanted to give her the thanks in person.
Yay!
How you doing, Miss Dinah?
Hi, thanks. I'm good. How are you?
Very good, very good. Thank you so much for that wonderful video you made for us. I mean, I know it was probably something that took you 20 seconds or something like that to do, right?
Sure, we'll go with that. So quick.
It's so.
No, technology sucks, you guys. Let's just say that technology sucks. And Dinah, thank you so much for dealing with us and editing all that footage and then getting all the audio from Eric. And it was quite a project. And so thank you for taking it on for us. We really appreciate it.
It looked awesome.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks for letting me play with the logo too. That was kind of my favorite moment.
I think so too. That's pretty cool.
I was so proud, and I was off to a great start, and then, yeah.
No, but you did really good. The video looks fantastic. We've gotten really good comments from it and everything. So that definitely requires a talent because I honestly have no idea how to do any of that.
Video editing is hard. I went to school for that, and it's a pain in the ass. I'll tell you what.
Let me tell you something. When I saw Dinah working on it, I literally felt like pretty color. So I have no idea what you did. I mean, the patience it takes, it definitely requires a talent for that. So thank you so much for that. Who are you? I know you're working on, you're going to be having your own podcast soon as well as coming, when?
So it was in the plan to start sooner, but with your video and I was trying to do
she's blaming it on
contest.
us.
I did blame it on you. but I also was trying to do a writing contest, so it was kind of pushed to the side. But now it's getting back started. I got a really cool icon done by Todd over there.
Oh, wow.
So I'm really
Cool.
excited.
You mean like me? Like
You
okay.
made it.
So the guy from @ToddsImagination on Instagram did that?
That very man
Cool.
did it, yes. So, and it's fun. It's
Well, he did that. I drew it.
okay, you did draw it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, Eugene drew it. Todd digitalized it. I just get to keep it and use it. I came up with the name. There you go.
What is the name?
Oh yeah, so it's Take 5 with Dinosaur, because whenever I say, hi, I'm Dinah, everyone's like, oh, Diana, Dina. I'm like, no, Dinah, like a dinosaur. So I've always been Dinosaur.
It makes sense now.
Yes, and when I
Wait
tell...
a second.
It's great. When I say I'm half dinosaur, I really am
Boom.
Dinosaur.
I love it.
Dad
That's
joke.
so clever.
Thanks.
Awesome. And you also have a website, an Instagram account with dinosaur designs?
Yeah, that one's kind of also kind of not super happy because I'm focusing. Hopefully, productions are starting back up, and that's what I do. I've been lucky to kind of once in a blue moon work on a commercial recently, but now that productions are really getting back up, hopefully it'll just be more of the podcast and me getting to work in what I love to do. So
That's the dream.
that's the dream. The dream, I mean, really is I'm hopefully on my way to get to be a producer and a writer, but
I
we'll
want to
see.
be a producer.
When I saw that as a kid, that was like my theme song all my life. I'm like, I want to be a producer. So I would sing that a lot, actually.
Well, it's
Funny
really
enough.
funny that you say that because we actually have a producer as a guest today. See what I did there? You see what I did there?
That's a great segue.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the award for best segue goes to Caitlin Larkin.
Oh, thank you.
Yay.
Yeah, you
And
get.
not the CEO of the Segway.
No,
who
no,
died
no.
unfortunately on
No.
a Segway.
No, that's a different. That's a different segue altogether.
He did.
He did, actually.
He died on a Segway. He fell off a cliff.
Yeah. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah.
That's
Nah.
really ironic.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
And knowing?
The more you know.
No.
Is
Oh.
half the
It's
better.
half the battle.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You confused me from the before, but anyway.
Like more you know, right?
G.I. Joe is so disappointed in you right now.
Anyway,
Yo, Joe.
Yo. Well, yes, folks, we have ourselves a producer. But before that, Dana, thank you so much for being here and stopping by and saying thank you. As always, we are so grateful for all your work and everything. So thank you very much. And till hopefully in the next video, will only take you 30 seconds to edit. On that note. No, thank you so much. Folks, we do have an amazing show. We actually have ourselves an amazing guest. Actually, a guest that you probably know more than anybody else.
I do. We get into it in a bit, but this is actually an old family friend of mine
Nice.
that I was really impressed. Like, okay, so what really did it for me is that I've idolized this guy ever since we were children because he, was a former child star. So it's like you as a little kid, it's like, oh my God, my friend is on the TV. And we don't, talk a lot. We always, see each other on Facebook and all that stuff ever since he moved out to Los Angeles and then I moved to Florida. So when he sent me a message saying that he listened to the podcast and that he wanted to be a guest, nice. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my God, he wants to be on the show. That means I've done something right here, I think, So I just was so blown away that he wanted to come and participate. So we're really excited to have Mr. Michael Maccarone with us on What the Flux, and you're going to enjoy that right
now.
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 Now?
No, now.
Right now.
Right now. Now.
All right, folks. We have an exciting show today. First of all, we are very honored and grateful to have with us not only an ex-child actor, but also a producer as well. For a couple shows that we're going to talk about, Mr. Michael Maccarone.
Yay!
Hey.
Yeah, you get an applause there.
I'm good. Did you pronounce my name with like an Italian flair at the end there? That was it.
Eugene has a very interesting accent.
I did. It comes out a little
you
bit
make me sound more sophisticated than I really am. It's great.
Signore.
Scusi.
Yeah,
well, we that was the idea, of course. That's how we're professionals here, Mike.
We're really not. We're not professionals.
Well, welcome, Mike.
Thank you for having me on.
This
is great. I'm a fan of your podcast, so this is a lot of fun.
You have no idea what that means to me right here because I have to take our audience back here. So Michael and I, in this weird little universe, have basically known each other all of our lives, but have only met on a few occasions because my father and his uncle are best friends. And my cousins are, best friends. Like their mom is best friends with your mom and just all of these little things. So we've always grown up knowing each other, but only occasionally ever saw each other. So being a little kid in the 90s and seeing someone on TV, that was always my claim to fame. It's like, oh, you see that guy right there on the Captain Crunch commercial? I know him.
That's so funny. I forgot about the Captain Crunch commercial.
Oh, I didn't forget. That was always it. It was like, yeah, you've seen Richie Rich? I know that guy.
So funny.
Well, that's exactly.
I was always jealous of Richie Rich's friends.
Yeah.
Like they got you obviously you were there, Mike, but just to go and hang out at this mansion and all these cool rides and I was like, I want to be that. I'm sure I was the same age when the movie came out.
Right.
And I just
it was
wanted
cool.
to be there,
Well, I remember one of the very first things I ever asked you, Mike, was, did you use a stunt double or was the catapult real? And when you told me that you legit did that, I shit my pants.
I don't think they would let kids do that these days. I don't think that would be a thing. But yeah, they built an air cannon thing. It was compressed air, and gosh, they tested it out with sandbags, the same weight as the kids that would be flying on the thing. And,
oh yeah, the
that
kids will be fine.
And we were on bungee cords that they painted out, in post production. But yeah, we really went on that thing, and I know there was a stunt double. There were stunt doubles, I think. I can't really remember, but yeah, we practiced on it. We did it a million times. It was crazy. And they shot it in two parts where, you'd see us launch off, but we didn't really land properly in the airbag on the launch. And then we would jump out of a crane, and they'd sort of pick it up on the B side of us landing in the airbag. So it was insane. And I don't think they would let kids do that these days, but it was fun.
Movie magic.
I really want to watch that movie right now.
I know. Got to go back and watch it now.
I think it still holds up.
I'm just happy the fact that we're interviewing somebody that did his own stunts. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. So I mean, Tom
big
Cruise,
deal.
please. Big deal. So what else have you been up to,
I've
Mike?
been well, I eventually moved out to LA and I got involved in post production, so I'm working behind the scenes now, and I've been doing that for the past 10 years. So that's what I've been doing. Right now, it's kind of a slow time for the entertainment industry, but seems like it's a slow time for everybody else. So I just finished up a show on Netflix called Space Force.
Yes!
All right. Space Force. Little show called Space
Little
Force.
show, very, very big show. And that was incredible to be a part of. And, we finished that right sort of on the cusp of COVID taking over. So that was absolutely insane, but we got it done and it aired about a month ago and it's been doing well, I think. And people seem to enjoy it. So that makes me very happy.
Yeah, the wife and I watched it in a day.
Yeah.
It's honestly one of the best
awesome.
shows
I'm so
on
glad
Netflix.
you like it.
Yeah, it's I felt bad because I was watching, like I believe I mentioned this before, that I thought, I'm gonna watch one episode. I just want to give it a shot. I'm a big Steve Carell fan, so, and out of nowhere I'm like, holy crap! I lost the whole freaking day.
It's so great. It's so weird, when you work on these shows and then people binge it all in a day. It's so weird because it's such a huge show and then people are talking about it, but really after like the first week or two, it sort of dies down a little bit. But yeah, it was a great experience, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Well, there's another little show you were involved as well. A little show called Parks and Recreation.
That's where I got my. That's where I got my start.
Right.
Yeah, it was a great show.
Woo! I love that show
I love
too.
that show.
Another amazingly
yeah.
binge-worthy show.
No, as when quarantine started, because Ange and I have always wanted to watch it, but never really had the time. And when it was on, I didn't really ever catch it. And we're like, oh, we could finally watch Parks and Rec. We watched the entire series in 8 days. It was just hysterical. And every time your name popped up, I'm like, I know him. And
I know him.
well, he's in one episode.
All right.
Yeah.
In season 4, I do. Yeah.
What?
I lost my mind. I was so excited to see you there.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna be checking this out when we're done with the podcast. Season 4.
That's awesome.
Do you
Yeah,
remember
it's
which
episode 12, campaign ad, I think it is.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
All right, homework for the
I was
day.
begging.
Richie
the
Rich,
editor,
Parks and Rec.
an editor on the show who directed many of the episodes. I was begging him for like 2 years at that point. I'm like, you got to put me on the show, please, 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 please. And it just worked out where they needed somebody to pinch. I'm like, and I could do it.
That's like. Do you know who I am?
No,
I was Richie Rich.
I didn't say anything like that, but it was fun. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
Well, Mike, we are very excited to have you on board because today we have a serious topic, folks.
Well, I also have to ask him our ultimate question.
What's that?
That we ask every single guest before we get into the topic.
That's a big question.
Mike, what is your Back to the Future love story?
Woo!
You mean like how I came to fall in, like how it all started for me, basically, or?
Exactly. Your love story with the film, with the trilogy, your fandom.
I mean, I remember seeing the first one and being into it, and I remember, renting it, that and Bill and Ted, like every weekend. Like I would just rent it. And then I saw Back to the Future 2 in the theater when it came out, and I was just, my mind was blown. Like, basically, Back to the Future 2 is what sort of, sucked me into this whole thing, because, once they went back and started revisiting the first movie in Back to the Future 2, I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And, and then eventually I got, like, the VHS trilogy for a gift for, my birthday or something, with the Secrets of the Back to the Future trilogy with Kirk Cameron, which I have watched 10,000 times. Yep. And I fell in love with it, and I think it's, I don't know, I think it's mostly Michael J. Fox. I think I just like idolized him as a kid, and I thought he was an amazing actor, and he was so funny, and the tone of the movies, like, mixing sci-fi and comedy and adventure and all this stuff. It's just like the tone of the movie. Nothing like that has ever they've never been able to do anything like that again. It was just like such a perfect moment in time, no pun intended. Sorry. I bet that happens a lot on the show.
Yeah, we love it though.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, but yeah, it was Back to the Future 2 that just sucked me in, and kids my age, when that was all happening, like they talk about it, behind the scenes stuff. Like I was one of those kids calling skateboard shops on Long Island, like asking them if they had any hoverboards because I truly believed that they were real. And I was not the only one. Like I honestly, I really believed it. And I would call and I would call and I would call Toys R Us. Like it was crazy. There was like an insane obsession.
Hopefully the store owners were like, kid, not till
I
2015.
don't even remember, I don't even remember how they responded to these questions. But, I'm not sure if you guys talked about it on the show, but like, that behind the scenes thing where Zemeckis talked about that joke of him saying, yeah, it's been banned, whatever. I believe that. I saw that. I remember seeing that making of on TV. This is before I got the box set or whatever. And I bought into it just like every other kid, and it just like consumed me, and I thought it was real. And ever since then, I was hooked. And now my daughter is getting a little older, and I introduced her to the movies, and we've bought some toys and stuff, and it's been great. So.
I have to say, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, and I'll edit it out if you don't want me to, but the picture you posted on Facebook of your daughter with your hoverboards was the cutest thing I had ever seen. It's like, I got a pit bull now.
I know, that's just so me cute. Nerding out. Like, I took a picture of her holding the pink hoverboard on one side, and then the pit bull on the other, and I wanted her to do like a thumbs down to the pink one and like a thumbs up, like I got a pit bull now. So yeah,
that's great. That's dad goals right there.
That is like the ultimate dad goal.
Yeah, there's a lot of nerdy stuff going on in this house these days, especially with all the time we have. So
that's cool. Mike, do you consider a lot of people consider Back to the Future 1 a perfect film?
Yes.
Do you agree with that?
I do. I think it's a perfect film. And anybody who asks me what my favorite movie is, obviously, I say Back to the Future, and I say exactly what you said. I think it's a perfect film. When I was a kid, I would have told you that Back to the Future 2 was the better movie, because I didn't know any better, and I think it was just because of my hoverboard obsession. But
I 100% agree with you,
Me
Mike.
too,
As a
actually.
kid, like, oh man, Back to the Future 2 is great. But obviously we know now.
Exactly. And I mean, the second half of Back to the Future Part 2, I still get giddy watching that and how they, revisit the first movie and all that. But yeah, the first movie, it's perfect. I mean, I've watched it so many times, and I've tried to figure out what's wrong or flaws or but it doesn't matter. It still holds up today, which is insane. A movie that takes place and is based around 1985. It still holds up, and it's so well done. And even though the visual effects and stuff still look good.
Yep.
Well, that's one of the fun things that we're going to be talking about today, because as a perfect movie, I would consider it, obviously, as many other people, a perfect movie as well. But one of the things that makes Back to the Future so special is the fact all those little hidden fun facts, all those little hidden gems that the movie has. And let me tell you, I honestly, I stopped counting after 100 the times that I've seen Back to the Future. I'm like, it's not even worth counting anymore. And it's amazing how to this point, I still always find something that, oh crap, I didn't realize that. So today we actually are in the mission where we're going to be talking about some of the fun facts, hopefully some that you guys might know, some you guys might not know. But as fans, we want to blow each other's minds away. We want to be like, holy crap, I didn't know that. So we'll see who has the best fun fact today. And we'll take it from
I just wrote down a bunch of Easter eggs.
Oh, no.
That's what I did. I wrote down a bunch of Easter eggs.
When I take a challenge, my friend, I go all out.
All right, all right.
I'm here to take names.
Well,
I'm sure we have multiple of the same ones.
We probably do. Well, the thing that I'm really blown away with the movie, and it's funny because Leah Thompson said this in the cameo that she sent to us about how the Bobs paid attention to all the little, nuances in the film and all these little things because they wanted you to rewatch the film over and over and over. Because we forget, this movie was released right when video rentals started really becoming a thing. Yeah, it had been around, since 77. I think the very first video rental store was in Los Angeles, but the first Blockbuster came to Dallas, Texas in 1985.
I'm sorry, what's a Blockbuster?
Oh man, don't do that. Don't do that.
Ask Netflix. sorry, Mike. Sorry.
But Back to the Future came out on VHS in 86.
Damn.
And of course, at the very end, it had the "to be continued," which they just threw in there as a joke.
That's right.
Really? I didn't know that.
They had
we
no
got one.
yay! I got one.
That's one.
They had no intentions ever of making a sequel.
Nope.
They just thought it would be funny to, keep kids guessing and tease it. Yeah. But that just goes back to, all the little Easter eggs and things that they really wanted people to rewatch this movie over and over and over so that you would see something new every single time.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the movies, and when you saw the movie at the theater, there was no to be continued.
No, it only came out on the video in 86 when it was on VHS.
Oh, okay, cool. That's interesting right there.
Yeah.
Well, we actually got a couple of fun facts here. One of my favorite facts, I always like to say this to my friends because I just like to blow them away, their minds away. But it's about with Doc Brown and Lorraine.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what I already know what you're going to say.
This one? Okay. Mike, do you know this one?
I don't think I know where you're going just yet, but let's see.
Okay. How many times has Doc Brown, obviously Christopher Lloyd, and Lorraine Leah Thompson have actually talked or talked?
They had a scene together.
How many times they have actually
in
talked
the whole trilogy?
Michael, let you go if you want.
Where they had a scene together, I want to say probably just once in the first one when she comes to Doc's house looking for Marty to ask him to the dance.
Hey! That is correct.
I have one that's debatable. That when they're in school in the hallway, like, Doc, she didn't even get to look at him. Like, wait, are you telling my mother has the hots for me? Like, that's Doc is in the hallway, like he's just around the corner.
But they don't have any dialogue.
There's no dialogue.
Right.
But what's funny about it is that they have actually appeared in 5 films and 1 TV movie together.
Yep.
So it's kind of curious about that.
But with all of those, they never have any scenes together.
Nope.
Even in those other movies. So that's a total of 6 projects that Leah Thompson and Christopher Lloyd have done, and they never have any dialogue.
Maybe they don't like each other. I don't know.
Mostly? I don't know. You go ahead.
Oh, geez. Well, like I said, I only just wrote down a bunch of Easter eggs. And little favorite things, fun facts and Easter eggs. But probably one of the coolest ones is that in the very opening scene, you have the amplifier that Marty plugs into has CRM 114 on the amplifier, which of course is one of Stanley Kubrick's little Easter eggs that he has in his films, but it's on the monitor in the movie Dr. Strangelove.
Mm-hmm. Correct, yeah.
So I always thought that was cool.
A little nod, or it could be a similar type of amplifier.
Maybe like the Bobs wanted it to be in the same universe.
Correct.
One of those kinds of things.
All right.
Kind of like what Pixar does,
Mm-hmm. All right, what about you, Todd? What do you got?
So let's talk about the refrigerator.
Oh, geez, the refrigerator.
Refrigerator.
So the refrigerator idea came about that the Bobs were trying to figure out what time machine capsule of some sort they wanted to do, and one of the ideas was it was going to originally to be a refrigerator. And then obviously they ex-nayed that, or I think it was Steven Spielberg who ex-nayed that. Just like a fun fact that they were like, yeah, let's get in this refrigerator, kind of like, Superman getting in the phone booth or whatever. But they wanted to be mobile, the time machine. So, and then come to find, later down the road, Steven Spielberg in Indiana Jones 4.
That never happened. That movie never happened.
Indiana Jones 4. I enjoy what it is for Harrison Ford to be on screen again. But in one of the scenes in 1955, I believe.
Yeah.
I've honestly never seen it. I've seen the clip.
Yeah.
Because I know the reference, but I've never seen that movie.
Indiana Jones is in the 50s in a nuclear, shelter. He gets into
the
a refrigerator and then obviously is saved.
Yeah.
So that's my. we could have on our Indiana Jones podcast.
Sure.
As you can tell, Mike, me and Kayla are not big fans of that last Indiana Jones.
We could call it Raiders of the Lost Pod.
Oh man, yeah.
I like it.
There's good moments, there's bad moments, but anyway.
Well, we know Steven is listening to this podcast, so you know what, Steven? Nobody's perfect. It's all good. All right, Mike. What about you? What fun fact do you have?
All right, I've got something weird, and I'm not going to lie. I was digging around, just kind of refreshing my memory on some stuff. But there is this very weird thing. It's like a twofold thing. So, in the background, I guess this is like an Easter egg, or I don't even know how to describe it. But in the background, in part 1, when Marty. In this particular scene, he's talking to Jennifer, or he gets the flyer, so you have the clock tower. In the background, there's a marquee. There's a movie theater, and it's yes. So it's playing a movie called Orgy American Style.
Yeah.
Now, do you know the significance of this film and how it ties into other things going on in Back to the Future?
I do, but I'll let the guys go.
Is it with the bum, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the bum, and at the end of the movie. That he was in that movie, something like that?
Yeah, he was in it.
That was a new one that I just came across that I found it very strange because it's like, it's a real movie, and I don't know if it's like a soft core I don't know what it is, but I found that very strange. But then in kind of learning more about it, I also found out, and I don't know how truthful this is that Marty, when he comes back at the end of the film, so the guy who is in that movie is Red, right? The guy at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's always been a big debate. Because
if it's the mayor.
No, that's the thing. It's not Mayor Red Thomas. People like to say that it's Mayor Red Thomas.
But it's not.
But it's not.
Right.
Michael J. Fox just on a whim, because it's not even scripted. He just goes, "Oh, Red," because I guess the guy's facial hair. But has nothing to do with Red Thomas.
Or he says rad. He's like, "Oh, rad." Probably not.
But there's a version of the movie, I forget which DVD or whatever it is, where if you put on the closed captions, someone did it as Fred and not Red.
Oh, geez.
Which I don't know what that's all about, but there's always been debates about that on the interwebs. When I was a
kid, I always for some reason thought he said Brett. I don't know why, but I always thought he said Brett. And I was always so intrigued by, wow, Marty really knows everybody in this town.
Small town, yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was an interesting tidbit of all these facts that I've been scrolling through. That one definitely jumped out as being kind of an odd one. I'm wondering why. I'm wondering if that's just a weird coincidence, or they knew the guy, they worked with him before, they threw it in there as a little gesture to him, or I would assume that's the case, but that was kind of neat.
Also, my thing, in the middle of the town, you're showing a porno film where everyone's walking around. Hey, come on down, watch this porno theater.
It shows the destruction of Hill Valley, how it turned from this clean-cut town square in the 50s to graffiti everywhere and, porn theaters and bums lying around and all that stuff.
That should be an alternate 1985.
Right.
Well, when he comes back, it's a church, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fun.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, boy. Well, here's another fun fact for you guys. Back to the Future 2, which, Mike, that was your favorite film as a kid, but you probably never realized this, was actually the first film to accomplish interaction between the same actor on the screen twice as two different characters. For example, there's the classic dinner sequence in 2015. There is also the order to accomplish this, they had to divide the thirds. The camera has to be divided, and Michael J. Fox, which obviously, as we all know, is an amazing actor, had to come and play 3 different times his older self, Marty Jr., and his daughter, Marlene. The other scene that I'm talking about is when Biff interacts with himself in the garage in 1955, and of course the other one is Doc talking with himself in 1985.
I have to stop you right there because this is one thing that always annoys me about the film. So you have the 2 docs interact, right? And he's giving his other self the wrench.
Yeah, and it's totally
off.
Yeah.
And it's totally like not edited correctly.
Just like the scene with Griff in Cafe 80s, where he shoves old Biff out and he's like, old Biff is falling out of the door. And then Griff opens the door from the right, and it's almost like a second too late, where it's just like this pause, and then Griff opens the door, because you could see the shadows.
I have to check that out. I've never noticed that one.
Oh, we got one!
I'm that nitpicky. I love to edit,
Yeah.
So it's just a second too late.
All right, we got Todd and Caitlin have been shocked.
Well, going back to that moment where they were doing the 3 Michael J. Foxes talking to one another, this might have been on the Secrets of the Back to the Future thing, or I don't remember where I saw this, but they're doing motion control camera work to for each take, so it all matches seamlessly. And apparently there was like an earthquake at some point during the shooting of that scene. I hope I'm not making this up. It's possible, but I feel like there was an earthquake during the shooting of that sequence, and I could be getting it mixed up with another movie. I don't know, but
that's fun to think about and try to
Well, they were worried. They were worried that something might have gotten thrown off, but I think everything was okay. But now I have to look it up and see if I'm mistaking that with something else.
The automatic, the fruit tray that comes down.
Fruit, please.
Fruit, please. Shaking, the grapes are shaking.
Well, Mike, don't worry about it, because if it happens in What the Flux, it's got to be true. So, all right, Caitlin, your turn.
All right, my turn. Let me get my notes here.
My turn.
Oh, so it's funny because we were actually talking about this with Diz, our mixologist, but I never knew until recently that Mr. Peabody's son was named Sherman.
Yeah.
And of course, that is a nod to the Sherman and Peabody cartoons from the Rocky and Bullwinkle series. Yep. And of course, they were time travelers. Yep. So I always thought that was, really neat. It's like, oh, it's Sherman Peabody.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Peabody. It's crazy idea. Breeding pine trees.
He owned all of this.
My pine wine!
Hey, that was pretty good. That was really good.
Thank you.
He does a pretty good job with that.
Todd does voices, and he's fantastic.
Great. Yeah. One time he was doing Christopher Walken, and people to this day think that Christopher Walken was a guest on our show.
No, come on. That's just getting crazy now. Just stop. I'm telling you.
Hey, he decided to come back. People are going to start thinking that Christopher Walken's out of work or something. He's living here.
Yeah, well, anything for the podcast.
Hey, anything for the podcast. That's your turn.
All right. Let's do this one that I'm pretty sure everyone knows. Eric Stoltz was the original Marty McFly. And they shot half the movie already. Mm-hmm. And this one is up for debate. Tom Wilson swears that this is still in the movie. The scene where Marty punches Biff in the cafe in 1955. The punch that Marty hits Biff in the face and Biff flies back. Tom Wilson swears that's still Eric Stoltz's punch. He can't say it is because if it were true, Eric Stoltz would have to get compensation from the movies.
Right. Correct.
So that's a little fun fact. That might be Eric Stoltz's punch.
To go on that note, that is Eric Stoltz. And I'll tell you why. I'm one of those geeks that when you hear like a conspiracy or something like that, like, I go all FBI. Like, I'm like, all right, I got to slow down the camera, blah, 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 all the details and everything. If you actually look at the side of the face, I mean, it is something that happens blink of a second.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at the side, at the chin side, that is definitely not Michael J. Fox's chin side. that's definitely not his shit. Like, and you look at it as like, yeah, either that's a stunt double, or Eric Stoltz, or even Eric Stoltz stunt double, but it's definitely not Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, that's the thing, because Tom Wilson said he did, like, it was either Michael J. Fox or Eric Stoltz doing that thing. So he said Michael J. Fox didn't film that scene because like there were this rush of redoing scenes with Michael J. Fox. So it's pretty interesting.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because I think there was just an article posted yesterday from the Hollywood Reporter where they were talking about it. I haven't had the chance to read it yet.
Eric Stoltz is filing a law.
You know what? I wish I had the article right here on me, but it was mentioned. Like, I swear this just came out like yesterday. Where'd it go? Yeah, from the Hollywood Reporter.
Hollywood Reporter with an H, folks.
Screenwriter Bob Gale and editor Harry Krematis, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, lend their insights about debated split-second moment. So there's a whole article here, which I do not have the time to read because, of course, we're in the middle of this. But
that's funny.
Yeah, there's a thing here.
Yeah, you'll know.
That we need to read.
All right, Mr. Mike, what do you got?
No, keep going, guys. Keep going. I'm learning more stuff from listening to you guys talk. Anything I'm going to give to you.
All right, I'll go for another one.
I did double check the earthquake thing. I didn't make that up. That actually happened.
Oh, cool.
Wow, all right. So
all right,
we all learned
Mike,
something.
You won because I did not know that one.
None of the props moved.
That's
They were really scared they would because if they move in they'll be off for all the different stitching of the three things together. I guess they could fix it, but it would just be a pain in the butt.
I didn't know that. That's cool. I did not know that one. That's all right. So the three of us has lost. So we still gotta get Mike. We gotta get Mike.
All right. So of course, when Marty gets to 2015 and Back to the Future 2, and he's looking at the antique shop window, everybody knows that because Bob Zemeckis had just finished up on Roger Rabbit. They put in a Roger Rabbit doll in there. In the window display. But what I never realized until recently is that not only is there a Roger Rabbit doll, but also Marty's denim jacket from the first film is in there, along with a vinyl record of Ronald Reagan is in the bottom left-hand corner.
That's true.
I didn't know about the jacket. I think I knew about the Ronald Reagan one, but that's amazing.
I never knew about the jacket until maybe like a couple months ago. I saw it, and I was like, oh my God, it's the denim jacket. So I always thought that was really cool.
And the Dustbuster, too.
And the Dustbuster.
And the Dustbuster. All right, so this one's one of those that you probably have heard it so many times, but you just never really thought about it. It has to do with Marlene.
Okay.
What's the first thing that Marlene says when she's introduced?
Mom, is that you?
Good job, the three of you. All right. Here's the thing that you guys probably never realized. Have you noticed that that's the same exact line spoken by Marty in each film, in each of the film of the trilogy?
Oh
every
my God,
time
you're
that
right.
he's knocked out and wakes up in an unfamiliar place.
Oh my
Oh
Lord.
my God, my mind is blown right now. There you go, man. There
Mike,
you go.
you knew that one.
I don't know. I guess maybe I don't know, but that's good. That's a good one.
Just mind
It's
blown.
like that's the line, but I never really brought it to light. It's like, yeah, we know it, but oh man, you're right. That's the exact thing that Marty always says every time he wakes up.
I congratulate myself.
There you go. Give yourself a pat on the back.
I will, but I still got another one for Mike. I still got another one that I'm going to shock.
Go.
That was my second best.
Oh, all right.
That was the appetizer.
Oh yeah, that's the appetizer.
Here comes the entree.
All right, you go, Todd.
I can't. I mean, I'm stuck between one of my two favorite ones.
Go for it.
So, the first one is right at the beginning of the movie with all the clock scenes, the foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Of Harold Lloyd from the movie Safety Last from 1922. Mm-hmm. Do you know this? Where the little man is hanging from the clock tower, foreshadowing Doc Brown.
That's a great one.
That, like, I always point out to my fiance, look, it's foreshadowing.
Look.
With my glasses on, hey, honey, look at this. But I'll do a twofer. That was one of my favorites. But my last one is when I went to LA before my family got there. I rented the minivan that I was driving around, this minivan, as a 25-year-old, like, on LA highways, or freeways as you guys call it. It was the scariest thing ever. But I tried to drive to some filming locations of Back to the Future. And I went to where they shot the Enchantment of the Sea dance, the high school. It is not in the same high school. It's actually, they use the basketball gym. I tried to go to that location, and I parked, and I was walking up to it, and I asked the lady, I was like, how can I get in? She's like, you can't get in here. Who are you? And I was like, I just want to get inside. Like, no, this is a YMCA. You can't get in here. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just a Back to the Future fan. Oh, one of you. You can't do that. I was like, oh, man. So it's now a YMCA where they shot the scene, and I was really bummed. So I just went into In-N-Out around the corner. It's actually around the corner from Grauman's Chinese Theater, actually. I think you know that, Mike, right?
Yeah, the actual where they shot the exteriors for the high school. Is that what you mean?
The inside of the school dance.
Right. Right.
Yeah. It's now.
Did you, when you were in LA, did you get to go on the Universal lot and see where they shot?
No, I was on a time crunch. I had a few hours. I saw the gym. I saw Marty's house. I saw Lorraine's house. George's house is on the same street as Biff and Lorraine's, actually. Yeah.
One of the cool things that I got to do when I was working at Universal was, when I would have downtime or when I was feeling particularly nerdy, I would just go out to where they shot, where the town square is, where the clock tower is. So I would oftentimes just take a golf cart if I was working on the lot and drive out there and just sort of sit there and stare at it, because even though it looks a little bit different now, the structure is all there. It's all the same.
That is one of the coolest things, I'm sure, to be there for it.
Yeah, I got the basic bitch tour. I didn't spring for the VIP one when I went 5 years ago on my honeymoon, so I only got to drive by the clock tower and cry. I really wish that we would have upgraded, because we didn't know until after, of course, that you could do that, where you could upgrade for a VIP tour and then go walk in the Universal backlot and all that stuff. So I'm sad I didn't get to do that.
Let me know. We'll go. We'll try to get in there somehow.
Yay!
But when I first actually moved out here, like week one, my friend was a PA on a movie on the backlot there, and he's like, "You got to come, you got to see this." So that was like one of the first things I did, and we nerded out and like walked the street and tried to like figure out, okay, so let's see, he was over here, and then Biff chased him in his car this way, and they went around 3 times.
Yeah, something seems very familiar about this.
Huge nerd. Huge nerd.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, is it safe to say that when you have a nerdy friend and they tell you, no, you got to see this, you got to follow me, something good's going to happen?
I mean, it was getting pretty nerdy. We were like, all right, this is the alleyway where he walks through after he lands in the future, and like it's all there. It's amazing.
Yeah, when I went to the film spots, it was just me. I was nerding out by myself, and I couldn't tell anyone or shake anyone. This is the street where the DeLorean flies up in the air. Because like when I turned the corner to go to Marty McFly's house, it looks exactly the same. The trees and everything. It literally, I felt like I was in the movie, and I was freaking out in this little minivan.
That's the power this movie holds over all of us.
It's the power of love.
Wow, that's a nice pun right there.
Yeah, I know.
That's perfect.
Speaking of puns, all right, here it comes. Are you ready for this?
This is it.
All right, hold your hats on. All right. Oh, wait. What was that line from Jurassic Park?
Hold on to your butts.
Hold on to your butts.
All right. So we obviously heard 1.21 gigawatts, 1.21 gigawatts, blah, 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 that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I love about the Bobs in the movies is the fact of how cleverly it's used 1.21. For example, obviously we've seen the classic scene at the beginning when Doc sends Einstein 1 minute into the future.
Right.
The time elapsed between the DeLorean disappears and reappears is actually
1.21.
1
Yeah,
minute
it's
and
1:21
21 seconds.
a.m. Yep.
At what time?
1:21 a.m. Yep.
And the flux capacitor requires?
1.21 gigawatts.
Boom.
Ah.
That's very smart, right?
Yeah.
But
there's more.
There's more.
Oh,
because
okay.
it's a 2-part. So that's that part.
Okay.
So that being said, what do you think represents the Back to the Future movies more? The DeLorean or the train?
The DeLorean.
No.
Why?
Oh, wait, this isn't an opinion question?
Oh, no.
Oh, I was just like, what represents it more?
No, because the time traveling represents it more because the train is a combination of all three films together. The train, 1885. Time travel, 1955, completed with 1985, and Hubble conversion in future, 2015. So technically, you have the train, you have all three films in one.
I'm confused.
I mean, I get what he's trying to say, but I thought you were asking like an opinion-driven question, like what represents the movie more, because nobody thinks about the train when you think about Back to the Future. Everyone thinks about the damn DeLorean.
Well,
so.
yes, that's true. An opinion matters.
So you need to rephrase your question
but
better.
It's a matter of how, if you really look at it in the
it's a I know it's a culmination of all the things. I get what you're trying to say.
That's what my point is.
Cool. Okay.
Do you like it?
I like it.
Do you concur?
I mean, I guess.
I have a quick fun fact. Speaking of the train, it just popped in my head. So we all know that. I keep saying that. We all know. Well, every Back to the Future fan should know that in Back to the Future 3, in 1955, Doc Brown is wearing the yellow train shirt.
Yeah.
That sends Marty Back to the Future.
Yes.
Right? That scene, right?
So that's 2015 and Back to the Future 2.
Correct.
He wears the train shirt with the Indians, but in the drive-in scene when he sends Marty to the Old
he's
West,
wearing the nuclear.
He's wearing the cactus shirt. Oh geez, I see it in my head, but I can't describe it right now. But it's another foreshadowy thingy.
Right.
Your phone friend?
I mean, all of my Back to the Future friends are right here, so I don't know who else I could call.
Correct. So that, which goes into what I'm saying.
Right.
And he was wearing it in 2015. Did you know? I don't know if you knew this. I think, yeah.
I know where you're going.
I don't know if we talked about it, but Back to the Future fans, when you're watching Back to the Future 3 and Doc and Marty are heisting the train, the conductor, and they're both wearing bandanas, closely look at Doc Brown's bandana. It's the train shirt that he made into a bandana.
Oh,
I love that.
Boom. Mind blowing?
Mind blown.
Always.
Mind blown right there, folks.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's a great one.
Here's a really fun one. How many Jennifers were they?
Like actors?
Actresses?
2.
Yes.
2.
Wrong. Elizabeth Shue, Claudia Wells, and Meloa Harding with Eric Stokes.
Yeah.
Because she actually filmed. Because she actually did film.
Yep.
The scenes with Eric Stokes.
That's right.
And then they had to recast her because when they recast with Michael J. Fox, she was too tall.
Oh, yeah.
She was taller than him, so they're like, we love what you did, but you're just too tall. He's so short.
You know, that's one of the reasons why Christopher Lloyd had to kind of like bendish a little bit because of Michael J. Fox's height. So whenever you see them together, you're going to see him like kind of like...
Yeah, he's like 6'1".
Hunched over,
Yeah, hunched over. That's right.
Well, guys, I think we came up with some excellent stuff.
Some good ones.
I don't know. We're all blown away here. Mike, you okay over there?
My mind is blown, but yeah, I'm holding it together as best I can right now.
I have to admit, Mike, you actually blew me there with the earthquake one. I did not know that one.
Yeah, I didn't know that one either.
That was, I was like, oh crap. Because you always kind of like proud yourself, like, I know everything about Back to the Future. But I always love the fact when somebody gets to say something, I was like, Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Aha!
Aha.
I remember. I always use like when we do trivia. I always use the Marlene one because that's something you just kind of like. I always pay attention to. Like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, she says exactly the same thing that Marty says all the time. With mom, is that?
That's great.
That's really interesting. I never put like two and two together, even
That's
though
my favorite one.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
To all our fans out there, if you actually have any fun facts or any fun puns like that, please write them to us and let us know. We will love to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely, the more we can learn about Back to the Future, the better. Or what's that old cartoon used to say? The more you know.
The more you know.
The more you know. What?
Yeah. That's it.
G.I. Joe! But we want to thank so much our guest for the day, Mr. Michael Maccarone.
It was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mike, you can come back anytime, my friend, and it's so good to talk to you. It's been too long.
Way too long. Yeah, anytime. I'm here. Keep up the good work, everybody. It's a great podcast.
Yay.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Folks, cannot recommend this show much anymore. I mean, Space Force is just an unbelievable show. Please watch it. Parks and Recreation, one of my faves.
And
Please
also
watch that
another
also.
great one that we didn't mention before, another Netflix show that Mike worked on called Love.
Love.
Which was one of my absolute favorites. I'm so sad.
Did you love it?
I did. I loved Love. My mom and I both adored that show, and very sad that it didn't get picked up for a fourth season, but it was so good. So if anybody out there needs a Netflix recommendation, watch Love.
Space Force.
Cool.
And Parks and Recreation. There you go. That's all you got to do for the next week, the couple days. Mike, thank you so much again. I'm gonna get your email because I want to send you a What the Flux Best Friend of the Week award.
There you go.
There you go. Yes, you are an official Best Friend of the Day.
What the Flux Best Friend of the Week?
It's a very highly prestigious award, Mike, that a lot of people are literally dying to get, and
Thank you so
just
much. I
got
don't know
it.
what to say.
I mean, it's a very
We're very crunched for time, so we can't have your speech. But
I know, Mike. I'll be honest with you. We were between you and Christopher Lloyd, and again, our apologies to Christopher Lloyd, but
yeah,
we decided to give it. We decided to give it to you.
He loses every week. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. I'll send you an email with the facts and everything, so we can send you this, and it actually looks pretty cool. If you actually go to our podcast, you can actually take a look at
on our Instagram.
And our Instagram and everything to see how it looks. But I think you'll like it, and I can't say anymore, man. Thank you so much for your time and nerding out with us.
Can't wait to do it again. Have a good one.
Yeah, awesome.
All right,
Thank you,
Mike. Bye.
Thank you so much, Michael, again for.
Yes, Mike. Thank you so much for coming on.
I mean, it's always. I think that's one of my favorite things to do with Back to the Future movies is when you can nerd out with other, I don't know, Back to the Future nerds.
Other fans.
We really got to come up with a term because as they say, like Star Trek has Trekkies.
Yeah.
What would you call Star Wars fans? I don't know, Jedi.
I don't know. They're just Star Wars fans.
Star Wars fans, yeah.
And we're just Back to the Future fans.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like we need to come up with something.
Time travelers. No, that's too basic.
Lame.
That's lame.
We need to come up with something clever to call ourselves, like fans, like like the Back to the Future people. You know what I mean?
Flux fans.
What?
Gigawatt.
Oh, look who decided to stop by again, folks. It's Dinah. What's your term?
Oh, I was saying gigawatts.
What do you think? Gigawatts?
I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I feel like that could go wrong.
I feel like it's like one of those.
What'd you call me?
What'd you call a gigawatt?
It sounds too close to Juggalo.
Oh, yeah.
It almost feels like, you remember the Smurfs when they're like, oh, Smurf this, Smurf that. Like, oh, gigawatt you. Oh, gigawatt this.
Yeah, like Jokey Smurf and Giga Smurf, Gigawatt Smurf.
Yeah, we don't approve it. Dinah, before we finish the show, we actually wanted to ask you real quick before you leave. I know you have your driver waiting for you outside, so if it's okay if he waits a little bit more. What is your Back to the Future love story? This is a question that Caitlin likes to ask all of our guests. And before you left, I remember you mentioned this to me once, and I thought it was such an amazing story. I think it's the best way to finish our show for today.
Let's do it.
So,
Dinah,
the microphone is all yours.
What is your Back to the Future love story?
So my love story, it doesn't really have to do with when I watched the movies because I wasn't born on the first one. I don't know if I was born on the second.
When's your birthday?
I'm not telling.
Oh, all right, fine.
You don't ask a girl that, you know that.
I'm a woman, I can ask.
That's true, that is true. But mine actually has to do with my favorite characters.
Okay.
My two favorite characters are not characters a lot of people say I've learned. I love Biff. I think Biff is hilarious. And it wouldn't have been the same had it been a different actor, but I do really love him. But my absolute favorite character, and this came when I grew up, was Seamus from
That's
the third
awesome.
movie. And when I was a kid, I loved the second movie because, you go to the future, and that was really cool. And what if you bought an almanac and all that jazz. But the third one, it answered all the questions. And the reason I love Seamus is Seamus was optimistic. He was the reason that Marty stopped caring about being called a coward and a chicken.
Right.
And it's when he meets this character who happens to be, since Marty, I know you guys know this, his real name is Martin Seamus McFly. So he was named after Seamus. So the writers of this making this whole connection of being named after Seamus, and Seamus is the reason because he was that optimist, and because he's like, why do you care? Why does it matter that him being called a chicken or a coward? And that's who taught him it doesn't matter if you're a chicken or a coward. That was the closure.
That's really funny you mentioned that because, of course, Martin is Seamus's brother, so he has
who
both
died
sides.
from being a chicken.
Right, who has both sides of the coin. So it's very like yin yang.
Yes.
Marty is a product of these people.
Exactly. Like it makes you wonder if they planned that from the very beginning.
Of course they did.
Yeah, totally.
Everything.
Because that's just
the thing is, Back to the Future 2 and 3 were written at the same time,
right?
And all that stuff. So
I think it was supposed to be a one movie. Well, I don't know if it was. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't know if it was supposed to be, but I see it as a one movie.
I do too, and I think I've said that in our earlier episodes that I cannot watch Back to the Future 2 without watching Back to the Future 3. But the script that Jeffrey Weissman said when he was talking to us was called Paradox, and it has both films, and they just essentially split up Paradox and turned it into Back to the Future 2 and Back to the Future 3. Right. So, yeah. I love that.
But yeah, Seamus is definitely my favorite. Once I became older and I started seeing the story of it, I was like, wow, this guy is great.
But let me ask you this. Can you actually imagine Crispin Glover? Because that part was supposed to be played by Crispin. Do you think that would have changed things if maybe it was portrayed by a different actor?
Weird,
right?
It would have been
not
different.
as heartfelt. As Michael J. Fox.
I think Michael J. Fox does it so well.
Oh, yeah.
He does.
I'll get me a new hat.
Yeah, it just had a feeling about this.
I'll get you a new hat.
I'll trade it in. No, that's the line. I'll trade it in for a new hat when he gets the gun.
But yeah, he's always been. He's my favorite. That's my love story.
That's awesome.
Seamus.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by again. Thank you so much for all you do for us. Thank you again for Eric. Thank you so much again for our guest of today, Mr. Michael Maccarone. And Todd, thank you so much for stopping by again.
As always, yeah.
Always nice to have you. Kaylin, always nice to have you here.
Nice to be here.
Awesome. Eugene is awesome. Oh my God, Eugene, the things that I can say about you. Thank you so much for being here. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
I can't even.
You can do your own show like that.
Oh, I'm already officially call myself the David Lee Roth of this group.
Oh, jeez.
And on that note, folks, thank you so much for everything. But in case you want to write to us, where can they find us?
My friends, you can find us all over the interwebs. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram and Twitter, whattheflux_pod. And then if you ever want to send us a letter or you want to send us a voice memo, you want to ask us questions, you can send those to whatthefluxpod@gmail.com.
Where at?
whatthefluxpod@gmail.com.
For the people in the back seats?
I'm not. Why do you do this every single time? They hear me.
Ooh. Ooh. Well, folks, thank you so much. And as always,
whether it be the future or the past, we'll see you next time.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
So why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to What the Flux. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at WhatTheFlux_pod. Please subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts and give us a 5-star rating. And be sure to recommend us to your other time-traveling friends.
Hasta la bye-bye.